I've been wanting to tell the story time for a fat minute. I want to tell the story of how I met Travis Scott and Don Toliver. Basically, this was the season after the NBA bubble, because the way it happened was that COVID hit, and then basically after COVID hit, they went into the bubble like late summer. Because I remember they got there in July, I think. After the bubble in July and season the Lakers won, they decided to start the season again, but in December, and just have less games. Basically, the security company I worked at, I'm not gonna name names, but it's easy to get the job. It's easy to get the job to work for the Rockets or just security around Houston. And what was it called? I think the Lakers came to town. Lakers came to Houston to play the Rockets. So Lakers came to town. Obviously, it's gonna be a big game because it's like LeBron, AD. They just won the chip. They just won the chip. So obviously, there's gonna be a lot of people that want to see the reigning NBA champions playing the hometown. You feel me? It was sold out, packed out. We had so many people that had to come in. And I was basically in the like upper section, not the upper section, but like the section where like a lot of the families and VIPs come in. I kid you not. That first day, because it was like, I think game like 3 or 4 of the season, James Harden was still here. Bro, I was actually security for James Harden's last game as a Rocket. That's actually insane. I didn't even think about that. They come in, right? We had a lot of celebrities. We had Johnny Dang. Kenyon Martin was there because his son was on the squad at the time. Who do we have? Chase B. We had a lot of celebrities that pulled up to that game. Now I think about it. That probably might have been the most hyped game I've ever been to, like of all time. I saw so many celebrities come to the Houston game. And then granted, this was like right before we started to be bad. This was right before we started to lose a little bit. So now you still have James Harden. You still have stars like LeBron James and Anthony Davis coming to town. So you had to have a lot of celebrities pull through. Basically, we get to like the second quarter. We get to the second quarter of the game, and we realize somebody's coming in. There's like some like higher up person that came downstairs to where we were at, and they were saying somebody's coming in. Somebody else was behind him, one of our employees, and told us it was Travis Scott. I was hyped because I like Travis Scott, and I didn't even know Don Toliver was going to be with him, but all we knew was that Travis Scott was coming at that point. I would say at least there was like 4 of us there, like 4 or 5 of us there. 4 of us definitely for sure knew who Travis Scott was. We were all young enough to know who he was. There was one individual. I forgot his name. I'm not even gonna lie. I completely forgot his name. He's a bit of an old head, so he had no idea who Travis Scott was. But like Travis Scott, I feel like at this point practically owns the city as a rapper. There's definitely other like people that can maybe hold that title, but for a lot of like the younger generation, it's gonna be Travis. So basically, yeah, second quarter comes by. Travis comes in with his posse. I remember it was cool. He had an orange Lambo truck. I thought it was super clean. Orange Lambo truck, brown Range Rover. The brown Range Rover from the Batman pick, literally the same cars. He comes in, right? Also, oh, I remember too, bro. He had a multicolor Louis V monogram bag. I thought it was the coldest thing ever. I like fashion, so I like the bag for sure. I was like, that's a nice bag. But yeah, he basically comes in. Not gonna lie, because of the protocol change, and this was only the 3rd and 4th game of the season, a lot of people didn't know like the protocol change with like the bags or mask and stuff like that. A lot of things like really changed from last season, so not a lot of people knew about it, and that's something that we had to deal with as like employers, telling people like, oh, bags have to be a little bit smaller now. You don't want to bring too much stuff in. You got to wear masks. Like we've always had fans like during COVID that did not want to wear their mask one bit. I kid you not. They always gave us issues no matter what. Obviously for us, we didn't really want to like give him too much issues. And even the person that came upstairs gets sort of special treatment, which I get. Like he's worked with the Rockets and stuff like that. So I get he can get special treatment. And everybody felt that way. I kid you not. The old head was not having it. I kid you not. Travis not having a mask, Trav having the bag, Trav trying to go through like the metal detectors. The old head was getting on his case so bad. Now it didn't escalate to a point where nobody was yelling or anybody was going to get into a fight, but it was getting to the point where like, you could literally, Trav was getting like super frustrated. He was like, come on, bro. And it was only the old head. It was only the old head. We were all just chilling. Everybody that was relatively young, we're chilling. We kind of like knew what to do. We knew he got special treatment, so none of us were really trying to get on his toes. This old head did not care. He was like, you got to follow the rules like everybody else. Now, funny enough, Don Toliver, I kid you not, because I've heard things about Don Toliver, him not being nice, like a dick or whatever, like not really maybe following rules. I'm gonna be honest, my interaction with Don Toliver that day, that man was one of the nicest celebrities I've ever met in my entire life. He was cordial. He followed directions. He was like slow with the process. We had even like a little mini conversation because he was like asking about, because I think at that point when we were accepting payments, it was a little bit different. Like Some like kiosks like accepted cards, some accepted like Cash App. So not everything was like only card, and some places were not like only Cash App. So it was kind of weird. So he's like asking questions. I was answering his questions. I just gave him like, I was like, hey, like I like your music, stuff like that. He's like, oh, that's cool, that's dope. And like we just had like an actual like mini conversation for at least like I'd say like half a minute, like 30 seconds. We were just going back and forth. So Don Toliver was one of the nicest celebrities that I've ever met. And he was super dope. He was like way more chill. But also I think not, I don't think, to be honest, I was the youngest person there. At this point, I was like, what, 19? I think I was 19. I'm pretty sure me being 19, I was the only person who knew who Don Toliver was in that group. Because everybody in my security group is like 30s, like 40s, 50s. So I'm pretty sure I was like the only one who knew who Don Toliver was. I'm being completely honest. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who knew. So yeah, basically they both get through stuff like that. I kid you not even 10 minutes later, there is somebody else that came downstairs. Because of the whole situation, nobody noticed that, hey, Travis didn't have a mask. He did have one in his pocket, but he put one later on. But you're supposed to put it at the door, so I get it. B, his bag was sort of big, but apparently he has like something in there to where he can like put the bag away in a certain location. So like that wasn't really our issue. But the other guy didn't know. So he comes downstairs, right? Not even 10 minutes after Travis gets by. He's like, he wasn't wearing a mask. He has a big old Louis V bag. Like, why y'all letting him through like that? We were just like, hey, we kind of knew he had special treatment. Somebody else came downstairs for him to like collect him from us. He just had to obviously go through our section to get to the stadium and get to his seats. Mind you, he was going courtside. I would assume that any guest who's courtside has some sort of special section to where they can put their stuff, you know. But I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Not the fact that the guy was yelling at us, but that the old head was, bro, getting on Travis's case so bad. And I kid you not, the next day, because the Lakers played back-to-back, they just stayed in Houston for 2 days. Travis came back again. Only Travis. Don wasn't there the second time. But Travis came back. Bro, I kid you not. I don't want to say the old head like scared him. I think he just knew like, hey, yesterday was issues. I'm just going to just comply and like just get it out the way. Because I kid you not, the bag was smaller. I don't even think he came with the same bag. Took stuff out of his pockets, walked through the metal detector, collected his bag, went out the way. Kid you not, no escalation, no nothing. I feel like because of the previous game, he just didn't want to like redo the same like, oh, you got to go back, you got to do this and that, because this old head was sending him back like every single time he messed like one little minor inconvenience up, like you got to go back to the metal detector. I think he was just like, let's just do, like, I'm not even trying to deal with it, let's just like comply and let me just get to the game. Because that was the second day after when the Lakers came. And it was funny too, because that actually ended up being James Harden's last game as a Rocket, and I actually worked it, so that was pretty crazy.